This one, arteria profunda branchis. You know this? Which enters canalis humora muscularis, or Rameau knows another two names, please.
Naviradialis and canalis spiralis.
And canalis spiralis, it enters this canal. And inside of the canal, arteria profunda branchi is divided into two. This one is called arteria collateralis radialis, and medial is arteria collateralis media. Next two branches, they go to the ulnar side. One is called arteria collateralis ulnaris superior and collateralis ulnaris inferior. So all this you know from today's topic. Next branches will be new. First artery. First artery begins from arteria radialis, and look, this artery goes back. It goes upward, and it is called arteria recurrens radialis. Arteria recurrens radialis, which goes upward and anastomosis with arteria collateralis radialis. And now we made one first anastomosis between arteria collateralis radialis and arteria recurrens radialis. Next arteries start from arteria ulnaris, and first of them goes medially like that between two bones, between radius and ulnar. That's why this artery is called arteria interosseus communis, common interosseous artery. This artery is not long, and soon it is divided into two branches. First one, it continues downward along anterior surface of the membrane, interosseous membrane, and it is called arteria interossa anterior because it lies anteriorly. Arteria interossa anterior. And second branch, it pierces membrane, interosseous membrane. There is opening of it, and this artery passes through the opening, and then it descends along posterior surface of this membrane, which is between two bones. And this artery is called arteria interossa posterior. Arteria interossa posterior. And now from arteria interossa posterior, one branch starts which goes upward and anastomosis with arteria collateralis media. This artery is called arteria interossa recurrens. Arteria interossa recurrens, which anastomosis with arteria collateralis media. Next two arteries. First one starts from arteria ulnaris and goes upward for anastomosis with arteria collateralis ulnaris inferior, and this branch is called arteria recurrens ulnaris anterior. Recurrens ulnaris anterior, which anastomosis with arteria collateralis ulnaris inferior. And last artery, it also begins from arteria ulnaris, but it goes to the posterior surface of the elbow, and anastomosis with arteria recurrens ulnaris superior. It is called arteria recurrens ulnaris posterior. Recurrens ulnaris posterior. Did you understand this? So all these four anastomosis, 1, 2, 3, 4, they are called rete articulare cubiti. arterial network of the elbow joint. And I want that you remember that these two anastomosis, this one and this one, are localized on the posterior surface of the elbow joint, posteriorly. Anastomosis which are in it. And then another two on anterior aspect of the elbow joint. Do you have questions? Нельзя. The palmar surface of the forearm, we have two arteries, two basic arteries. One artery passes here on the radial side, and logically this is arteria radialis. Another artery goes on the medial side, like that. And this artery is called arteria ulnaris. This arteria ulnaris. These two arteries come closer to the radiocarpal joint, and here they give branches. One branch starts from arteria ulnaris and another branch from arteria radialis. These arteries are called ramus, carpius, palmaris, and they unite together, anastomosis with one another, to form rete carpia palmare network, which participate in blood supply of the wrist joint. But here is one more artery. How is it called? Arteria interossa anterior, which also passes anteriorly, but it doesn't reach this rete carpia palmare. Why? Because just above it, it pierces interosseous membrane, and appear on the dorsal side. But before this, before piercing, it gives some branches to this network, and these branches also are called rami carpiae palmare. That is why this ramus carpius palmaris is formed by three arteries which have same name, ramus carpius palmaris, but they start from arteria radialis, from arteria ulnaris, or interosseous anterior. Understood this? Well, next, arteria radialis. After giving this branch, it goes to the dorsal side. It passes like that. And here I can find this artery in this depression. Do you remember how is it called? This depression is called anatomical snooze box. And this artery passes here in anatomical snooze box and then goes into first interosseous space here. When arteria radialis passes in the anatomical snooze box, here it gives one branch in this direction, and this branch is called ramus carpius dorsalis, which participate in formation very large rete carpio dorsalis. Here is rete carpia palmaris, here rete carpia dorsalis, and this branch is called ramus carpius dorsalis. Same branch starts from arteria ulnaris. It passes like that, and also participate in formation of this network. This branch is called ramus carpius dorsalis, which goes to the rete carpia dorsalis. Then this network, this rete, receives also arteria interosseous anterior after piercing. And another artery is here. Do you remember which one? Arteria interosseous posterior, which passes on the posterior aspect. That's why this rete carpia dorsalis is a little bit larger, because it gets 4 arteries, but this one only 3. Understood this? Understood. Then, rete carpia dorsale. Rete carpia dorsale gives 4 arteries, which passes here in the intermetacarpal space. 1, 2, 3, and last 4th goes on the most medial side of the hand. And these 4 arteries are called arteria metacarpia, because this part is metacarpus, arteria metacarpia dorsalis, because they are on the dorsal side. And they go up to this joint. This joint is called articulatio metacarpophalange. And in the region of these joints, every arteria metacarpia dorsalis is divided into two arteries, which goes to the corresponding fingers. Like that, like that. And these arteries are called arteria digitalis dorsalis, dorsal arteries of the fingers. Except this one, this artery without division just continues on the medial side of the little finger. Now you can see that every finger except index and thumb receives two arteries, two arteria digitalis dorsalis. How this one with half fingers are supplied? Come back to the arteria radialis. Arteria radialis, as you already know, passes into first metacarpal, intermetacarpal space, and then it pierces this muscle, which is called musculus adductor pollicis, and appear on the palmar surface. Like that. So it makes a loop around the thumb. But before piercing, it gives one artery, and this artery is called arteria metacarpia dorsalis, same like this, but you have to add one more word, arteria metacarpia dorsalis prima. Prima means first. And this artery is divided into three branches. One goes to the radial side of the index and to the both sides of the thumb. Like that. Understood? Or no? Yes, understood. Well, now you have a full schema blood supply of the dorsal aspect of the hand. What happened on the palmar surface? First of all, arteria ulnaris, it just continues from the forearm, it continues downward on the hand and begins slightly goes to the lateral side, like that. And here it anastomoses with one branch which starts from arteria radialis. Before going on the dorsal aspect, arteria radialis gives second branch. First was this one, arteria carpia palmaris, and second one descends like that, and it is called arteria palmaris superficialis, which anastomoses with arteria ulnaris. And now, after this anastomosis, I get one arc, which is called arcus palmaris superficialis. And this arc is formed by arteria ulnaris from one side and ramus palmaris superficialis from radial artery from another side. Understood this? Then this arc, arcus palmaris superficialis, gives branches. These branches also go to the intermetacarpal space. There are four of them, and they are called arteria digitalis palmaris communis, common palmar arteries of the fingers, which same like these arteries goes to the metacarpophalangeal joints, and same they are divided into arteries for fingers, but they are called arteria digitalis palmaris propria. Except this without division just continues. Now you can see that same schema like here. Every finger receives two arteries, except these two. Understood this? Then, what happened with arteria radialis? After appearance here on the palmar surface, it goes, I am draw this by dotted line because it lies deeper. It goes to the medial side, and soon this artery is anastomosed with branch from arteria ulnaris, which goes deeper, and this branch is called ramus palmaris profundus. And now I get one more arc, which lies a little bit proximally than superficial palmar arc, and this arc is called arcus palmaris profundus. And this arcus palmaris profundus is formed by radial artery from one side and deep palmar branch of the ulnar artery from another side. Understood? Which branches start from deep palmar arc? There are three arteries, and they also pass through the intermetacarpal spaces. 1, 2, and 3. These arteries have names like this one. These arteries are called arteria metacarpia dorsalis but this one, arteria metacarpia logically palmaris. They also descend up to the metacarpophalangeal joints, but a little bit above them, they unite. They come more superficially and unite with arteria digitalis palmaris communis. And with the help of this anastomosis, I can see connection between superficial arteries and deep one. And along the pathway of these three arteries, they give perforantin branches, rami perforantes, which pierces intermetacarpal spaces, so it pierces interosseous muscles and appear on the dorsal side, here, here, and here. And they unite with three arteria metacarpia dorsalis, perforantin branches, with the help of which I can connect dorsal arteries of the hand with the palmar. And finally, all these arteries, arteria digitalis dorsalis and arteria digitalis palmaris propria, they can be united with one another with the help of anastomosis. What this artery gives many branches and this one. And these arteries anastomose with one another. Same here, here and here. But these two with half finger left. Arteria radialis, after appearance here, it gives first branch on the palmar surface. And this first branch is called arteria princeps pollicis. Princeps means first artery of the thumb, pollex. And this artery is divided into three branches for both sides of the thumb and for the radial side of the index, like that. This full schema. Questions?
So this is also intermetacarpal space.
Why?
There is only three.
No, intermetacarpal between metacarpal bones. Here only one metacarpal bones, but here no more metacarpal bone from another side. That's why only 1, 2, 3, 4 intermetacarpal spaces. Only 4.
So the other branch, 4 branches goes through.
Which
Which one? This orange.
This artery doesn't go from between two intermetacarpal spaces. It just go to the medial aspect of the hand. And sometimes this artery, maybe in your textbook will be written that this artery begins from this one. So this superficial palmar arc gives 1 to 3 arteries only, and this one is divided into 3 to the ring finger and to the both sides of the little finger, like that. So.